Before we start, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Please, not in order.
Why did the pharaohs not record the story of Moses? First of all, let us agree that everything that contradicts or intersects with the Quran text, as if it did not exist. The book of God revealed to his noble messenger is the most truthful, and never doubts it, and it is more deserving to follow. Based on this conviction, we try to answer, in a simple way, the most important question. Why did the ancient peoples, especially Pharaonic and Babylonian, not mention anything about the prophets and messengers, starting with Adam, peace be upon him, and passing through the prophets Idris, Noah and Abraham, Joseph and Moses? What concerns us in the first place is the prophet of God, Joseph and Moses, because the Quran and the rest of the sacred books indicated their story on the land of Egypt, and how our master Joseph, who arrived to the court of the palaces of government in Egypt, came from behind the prison walls, and saved Egypt from the 7 lean years, and also the prophet Moses, who was brought up in the palaces of the Pharaoh, king after he was thrown into the Alyum, and then received his heavenly message on the Egyptian lands. Despite the momentum of the two stories in the sacred books, the Egyptian antiquities of temples, tombs, coffins, statues, stones and manuscripts, throughout the 30 pharaonic dynasties and beyond, after the entry of Alexander the Great and his conquest of Egypt, did not speak either from near or far about any of the prophets, in particular, or any other prophet in general, whether it was Abraham or Jacob, and other prophets. Scientists and experts in archaeology and history have tried to try hard and answer this important question. Why did not you explicitly or hint any of the names of the prophets on the walls of any archaeological and historical witness, despite their mention in the holy books, and the richness of the change and influence they made on different peoples, religiously, humanly, socially and politically? And they reached in their scientific research several important things, including: first, most of the various archaeological and historical evidence relates to kings, princes, and nobles, and not to the general population. And therefore the kings cannot be mentioned on the walls of their tombs, temples, coffins, statues and manuscripts, something about the common people, who are treated as slaves. The second, that the prophets and messengers were opponents of the kings and their tyranny, so the king and his court could not talk about opponents to him. And he did not recognize their sacred messages, and he left his religion in order to embrace what Joseph or Moses and other prophets and messengers called for. Third, some researchers believe that the pharaohs claim that they are descendants of the gods, so how can the descendants of God register on the temples of the religion and sanctify its holies? What is related to human beings and follow Moses's call to a greater deity who is the Lord of the worlds, just as it is not possible for the Pharaoh to control his tyranny, oppression and pursuit to Moses and his followers, to be a day witness to the extent of his injustice and his oppression, which is proven in the noble Quran. The Pharaoh rose to prominence in the land and made its people a Shia, weakening a group of them who slaughtered their children, and their women were ashamed that he was among the corrupt. These three factors, a simple attempt in an attempt to understand why monuments and historical sources did not record anything about the prophets and messengers in general, and Joseph and Moses in particular. The rest of the hadith is, if there is a rest.
If you like the video, click like me and subscribe to the channel to receive all new